All right, today we're diving into a new piece of tech that's trying to solve one of the world's most persistent and, frankly, heartbreaking health crises. It's a platform called IyáCare, and what it's trying to do, well, it's pretty ambitious: save mothers' lives. So what's the big idea here? It all boils down to a single, really shocking number.
70%. Just let that sink in for a moment. It's a huge number, and it represents a massive global tragedy, a tragedy that's largely preventable. But 70% of what, you're probably asking?
Well, here it is. 70% of all the maternal deaths in the entire world happen in Sub-Saharan Africa. Now think about this. That region has about 17% of the world's population, but it accounts for 70% of these deaths. I mean, that's just a staggering, tragic imbalance.
And this chart, wow, it just lays it all out, doesn't it? I mean, look at the numbers for a place like Chad or Sierra Leone, and then look at the global average. It's not even close. We're talking about a crisis on an absolutely massive scale, where just being pregnant is way, way more dangerous than it ever should be.
And here's the most frustrating part. So many of these deaths are preventable. It's not like we don't have technology. We have digital tools, but for some reason, they're just not fixing the problem. And the researchers behind this study think they know why. They call it technology silos.
So what on earth are technology silos? Well, think about it like this. We have all this amazing tech, right? AI, wearable sensors like your smartwatch, even blockchain. But they're all working in their own little bubbles. They're not talking to each other. So you might have an app that can text a mother reminders, which is great, but it has no way of predicting if she's heading for a crisis. Or you might have a health sensor, but that data just sits there, disconnected from our actual medical record. It's this total separation that means we're missing these huge critical chances to step in and help.
And this is a perfect example of that gap. You've got these awesome local platforms, like Mom Connect in South Africa. I mean, they're reaching millions of women. Their community reach is incredible, but they just don't have that advanced predictive tech. Then on the flip side, you have these big global platforms with all the bells and whistles, but they're built for places with perfect, constant internet. They're just not made for the reality on the ground in a rural clinic where the connection might drop out at any second.
Okay, so this is where IyáCare enters the picture. The whole idea is to smash those silos. Instead of separate tools, they want to combine 3 key technologies into one single integrated platform. So how exactly are they planning to do that?
Okay, piece number 1, AI. The best way to think about this is like having a digital expert who is dedicated to one patient. It's constantly sifting through their health data, looking for those tiny, subtle patterns that a super busy doctor or nurse might just miss. Its job is to spot danger way before it becomes a full-blown crisis.
Next up, you have the Internet of Things, or IoT. Now, if the AI is the brain, then the IoT devices are the system's eyes and ears. We're talking about simple, wearable sensors, kind of like a Fitbit or a smartwatch, that can monitor a mother's vital signs, heart rate, blood pressure, 24/7. This gives the system a constant stream of real-time data, even if she lives hours away from the closest clinic.
And the third piece of the puzzle is blockchain. Now, this is really important. In many places, health records are a mess. They can be fragmented, on paper, they can get lost, or the digital systems can fail. Blockchain creates this super secure shared digital health record that basically can't be lost, altered, or messed with. It means the patient's full history follows them, and every single doctor they see has the right info.
So how does this all fit together in a real clinical situation? It's actually a pretty neat workflow. Step 1, the IoT sensors on the mother are collecting her vital signs. Step 2, the AI model jumps on that data instantly, analyzing it to see if there's any risk. Step 3, all of this info gets stored securely and permanently on the blockchain. And then, and this is the crucial part, if the AI flags a risk, it doesn't just send out some generic alarm. It sends a specific, contextual alert directly to the right healthcare worker.
Okay, so that's the theory. It sounds pretty amazing, right? But the million-dollar question is, does it actually work when you put it all together? Well, the researchers built a proof of concept to see if it was even feasible. And this is the headline number that came out of their study, 85.2%. A pretty high number, but what does it actually represent?
That's the accuracy of the AI model. It was able to correctly flag high-risk pregnancies over 85% of the time just based on the data it was given. And that's not just good, it's actually better than a lot of other standard models they tested it against. So yeah, that's a really promising start.
And you can see the proof right here in this table. The researchers didn't just pull one AI model out of a hat. They tested a few different ones, and the model they went with, called XGBoost, clearly came out on top, not just in accuracy, but in its overall performance score. So this was a decision backed up by their own data.
But it wasn't just the AI that worked well. The whole integrated system held up in their tests. I mean, look at these numbers. An alert could go from a sensor to a doctor in under 5 seconds. The blockchain part worked almost flawlessly. And here's the one I really love. They simulated the internet going down, and the system recovered 100% of the data. That's huge. It shows the basic tech is really solid.
So the tech works great in a lab. But, moving from a nice, controlled lab environment to the messy, unpredictable real world, that's a completely different ballgame. And to their credit, the researchers are super upfront about the massive challenges that are still ahead.
So this brings us to the big question, right? Is this thing the final answer? Is IyáCare ready to be rolled out tomorrow and start saving lives? The short answer is a hard no. Not yet.
And here's why. This is the reality check, and it comes straight from the paper itself. First, the AI was trained on a generic data set. It doesn't know about the specific health risks that are common in Africa. Second, this was all tested in a lab, not a busy, chaotic clinic. Third, they used regular consumer smartwatches, not tougher, medical-grade sensors. And finally, the type of blockchain they used would be way too expensive to roll out across an entire country.
This chart really hammers home what might be the single biggest issue: the data. An AI is only as smart as the data you feed it. And for IyáCare to actually work in Sub-Saharan Africa, it needs to be trained on data that includes these critical local risk factors, things like HIV status, exposure to malaria, nutritional issues like anemia, things that just weren't in the data set they used for this test.
And look, you don't have to take my word for it. The researchers say it best themselves. They're crystal clear that this is a proof of concept. They say clinical validation with real patient data remains essential. So think of it this way. They've drawn up an amazing blueprint, but they haven't actually built the house yet. This is just that crucial first step.
And that leaves us with a pretty big, thought-provoking question, doesn't it? The potential here is absolutely enormous. The tech, as we've seen, is totally feasible. But can lines of code, an AI, and a fancy digital ledger, can they really bridge the huge systemic gaps that exist in healthcare? That's the real challenge, isn't it? That's the mountain to climb between this really promising idea and the day it actually saves someone's life.